Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a quiet chapter of American history. One that doesn't involve flashy battles or dramatic revolutions, but is just as important. We're talking about a big, long, man-made ditch that fundamentally changed the United States, the Great Erie Canal. Let's rewind to the early 1800s. The US was a young nation, and most of its people were clustered along the East Coast. If you wanted to head west, you were in for a rough ride. Forget about cars or planes, they didn't exist. Your options were a horse, a wagon, or a river, and all of them were slow, difficult, and expensive. Crossing the Appalachian Mountains was a massive barrier, isolating the promising lands of the Midwest from the bustling markets of the East. Then, in 1817, the state of New York had a bold and what many thought was a crazy idea. They decided to build a canal, massive, 363-mile-long waterway dug entirely by hand. The plan was to connect the Hudson River, which flows right into New York City, with Lake Erie, one of the Great Lakes. This ambitious project was called the Erie Canal. Immediately, people started making fun of it. Critics mockingly called it Clinton's Ditch, a jab at Governor DeWitt Clinton, the project's biggest champion. They said it was impossible. The distance was too vast, the terrain was a wild mix of forests, swamps, and solid rock, and there simply weren't enough skilled engineers in the country to pull it off. The whole idea seemed like a massive, expensive failure waiting to happen. But Governor Clinton and the supporters of the canal were determined. They pressed on, and one of the largest construction projects of the 19th century began. Thousands of workers, many of them recent immigrants, were hired, armed with little more than shovels, pickaxes, and wheelbarrows. They started the back-breaking work. Day after day, they dug through mud, blasted through stone, and cleared dense forests. It was grueling, dangerous labor. They had to invent new tools and techniques on the fly, like stump pullers and innovative cement that hardened underwater. It took 8 long years of relentless effort. Finally, in 1825, the impossible was complete. The Erie Canal was open for business, and when it opened, it was like a key turning in a lock that had held the country back for decades. The effect was immediate and profound. Boats pulled by mules, walking on towpaths alongside the water, started floating along this new water highway. They carried everything: grain from Ohio, lumber from Michigan, and people seeking new lives in the West. A journey that once took weeks of treacherous overland. Travel could now be completed in just a matter of days, and at a fraction of the cost. Shipping costs from the Midwest to the East Coast plummeted by over 90%. The Erie Canal wasn't a get-rich-quick scheme. It was something more powerful, slow, steady engine of progress. All along its route, sleepy villages transformed into bustling centers of commerce. Cities like Syracuse, Rochester, and Buffalo exploded in size and importance. Farmers in the West finally had a reliable way to sell their crops to the East, making the heartland America's breadbasket. And on the coast, New York City transformed into the nation's premier port, a global hub for trade and finance, all thanks to this steady stream of goods flowing from the interior. Of course, the canal's golden age didn't last forever, but by the mid-1800s, a new technology arrived: the railroad. Trains were faster, more direct, and could operate year-round, unlike the canal, which froze in winter. Gradually, railroads took over, and later highways and trucks made the canal seem like a relic of a bygone era. Today, much of the Erie Canal is quiet again. The big cargo boats are gone. In many places, the water flows peacefully between old stone walls, with ducks and kayakers paddling where heavy barges once traveled. It's a peaceful, beautiful place, but its immense historical significance is often forgotten. But if you ever find yourself walking along its banks, just take a moment to listen. You can almost hear the echoes of the past, the gentle splash of the water, the plodding steps of the mules, and the shouts of the boatmen. It's a quiet reminder of a time when America was building itself, one muddy, determined shovelful at a time. The Erie Canal proves that sometimes the most revolutionary changes aren't loud, but are carried on a slow, steady current. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the past, please give this video a like and consider subscribing for more stories like this. We'll see you in the next one.